Hello, beloved Kate0AD community. So, the realest of the real, Helicity, sent me even more replays to share with you guys that I'm so happy about. And I'm particularly happy because he sent me freaking 1v1s, which, oh my god, I love 1v1s. Let's go with Helicity versus Kate to start off. Helicity spoiled it and told me who won this game, but I am not going to spoil it for you guys. Yeah, I am so freaking excited and so happy that I'm actually able to record because it took me so long to get ready today. But Helicity is in the West playing as the Macedonians. Blue went for the berries surrounding the Civic Center. So now, for me, like, I can't imagine being that we have an apple tree right here, right next to these berries. We have all these extra berries over here. He doesn't know that there's another apple tree right there, nor does he know about these two apple trees and this additional crop of berries. But these two plus this apple tree alone is motivation enough for the berry upgrade to be an extremely beneficial choice. But, you know, some players just don't have that, they just don't have that upgrade incorporated into their playstyle, I suppose. And, yeah, they want to do it their own way, and, you know, I respect that. I respect that. We have a voyage straight to the wood line as well, rather than chopping up these trees right here. I definitely understand that because this short distance that they have to walk makes a really big difference, as opposed to them walking a slightly longer distance to get these trees over here, even though it is a longer walk and it's the immediate wood cost for the storehouse. You do really see the wood shoot up at a really fast rate. So over in the east we have Kate in the red playing as the Ptolemic Civ, and she also shot straight away to the wood line and said forget about it as far as these trees close to her civic center were concerned. Right now she is leading ever so slightly in terms of population, but Helicity just evened that out. If Kate isn't careful, though, she's going to get housed. Let's see. 2 seconds. Nope, not going to get housed because this one's going to be finished before these 5 women pop out of the Civ Center, and she's queued up an additional 5 now. Kate, on the other hand, the irony to me is just so unbelievable because Kate has, it would appear, she does have 1 apple tree, but she has no extra berries anywhere near her initial territory. But she did what I would do in any situation at the beginning of a game, and she decided to go for that berry upgrade because honestly, the amount of food that you get from gathering berries 50% faster is just insane, and it really allows you to boom really fast, really early in the game. So, Helicity, if I'm sure you'll watch this, I would highly suggest experimenting with the berry upgrade for sure. I mean, I'm sure you have. You're a very experienced, very skillful player, but I really don't see a possible downside, especially, well, maybe there would be a downside, you know, if it's just a regular amount of berries, but when you have a whole extra thing of berries plus an apple tree, I really couldn't see a reason not to go for the berry upgrade. So Kate's got her first barracks popping up in the northern area right by this wood line, which is generally speaking right where I put my first barracks as well when I build it. And I think doing so is really useful because the units can just pop out and go straight for the trees. And yeah, interestingly, or conveniently I should say, Kate's barracks is also right next to her initial minerals near her civic center, so whatever units she trains from that barracks will have the option of taking a really conveniently quick trip to either the mines or the wood line. And, yeah, now that some time has passed, Kate has decided to, take down these trees in the immediate vicinity of her Civ Center, which is what I see a lot of players do, just because, especially for the Ptolemies, who I believe the Ptolemies get cheaper, storehouses and farmsteads. Let me confirm that. I guess not. They used to. They used to actually get free storehouses and farmsteads, but, what was I going to say? Yeah, it's, that short walk distance can be very convenient, as I already stated. And, you know, whatever time you can save and whatever, you know, boost you can give, to your, resource gathering rate in the very first moments of the game, the first couple minutes, specifically, is extremely useful and has, a more significant effect than, you know, little tiny decisions that you make later on in the game, because those first few moments and whether or not, you know, basically your build order during those first few moments of the game is, really vital. So yeah, having that short walk distance is, significant, I suppose, and I think that's why I've been seeing a lot of players, walk their units straight over to the wood line rather than grab these trees first. So yeah, Kate is building a ring of houses around her farms, and her initial territory more broadly. She is, I don't know, this is probably by accident. She has, 5 women who are actually mining. I don't know, because now she has 3 more also going to the mines, and yeah, women, in terms of their gather rate for stone and metal, it's 0.35, so it's literally 1/3 the, gather rate that, infantry have. So I don't really, I can't really imagine a situation that justifies using women to gather stone. Maybe she needed that stone to get a specific upgrade that she was looking for, and she does pretty much only have women right now. She only has 12 infantry, which she's just training one at a time from the barracks, these spearmen, pikemen. Let's see. I'm curious whether Kate scouted. Kate did scout. The only thing is she did not scout her enemy's base, whereas Helicity scouted all the way around the back of her base. So Helicity has pretty much knowledge of the entire map, whereas Kate only has knowledge of everything except for Helicity's base. So let's see how Helicity is doing. They have their first barracks. They've been really neck and neck in terms of population this entire game, which is pretty incredible. We have 2 very, very experienced, skilled players. I would say Helicity's rating is actually, I'm sorry, both of their ratings are pretty low. You know, when you compare it to what their actual skill level is. I think Kate in particular, her rating is only a little bit above mine, and I think she's a much more skillful player than I am, when it comes to 0AD. Helicity has their second barracks going up, and they do have their first woodcutting upgrade, but both players are still in phase 1, 6 minutes and 30 seconds into the game. I would expect to see both of them, advancing up to phase 2 very shortly, though. Helicity kind of, has a bit of a surplus of wood, and I find when you're right about to go into phase 2, it's not that problematic having a little bit of a wood surplus, but they are a bit down to the wire in terms of food. I think that's why they're building this other farm. That should even out pretty quick, because 7 farms for the end-ish of phase 1 is a pretty decent to on the higher side number. So, yeah, I would assume that Helicity is just training a lot of women, and that's why their food count is as low as it is. Or maybe just training a lot of units in general. Currently, I was about to say they took a break from training units from the Civ Center, but at this point they're only training military units, whereas let's see what Kate's doing. Kate's actually training some camel archers right now, which is interesting. I'm wondering if she might be planning on bolstering her food intake with, what do you call it? Bolstering her food intake for phase 2 with some hunting. Because there is a very large amount of hunt throughout this map, which Kate should be aware of. We have Helicity diversifying his woodlines, which is an interesting strategy. I don't really... it's not something that I generally tend to go for. If it were me, I would kind of have everybody on this woodline, even though it's thinning out. I would put everybody on this woodline until it's completely depleted, and then I would send everybody over to the next woodline. Just because if you do get attacked, having a larger concentration of troops in one spot is always going to give you the upper hand as opposed to having your troops split up. Now, in terms of battles, like, sometimes you want to do like a pincer strike in order to kind of confuse the enemy or get their troops kind of spread out. So in those types of situations, it's useful to have your infantry kind of split far apart from one another. But generally speaking, in almost every situation, having your infantry kind of as close together as possible in one big group is the best way to go. So now Helicity is up to 11 farms, shockingly, still in phase 1. But 135 population. So both players right now are really just focusing on getting their population up as high as possible. Okay, see, remember what I just said about splitting your troops up? We kind of see the consequences of that right here. Kate honestly really could have probably, let's see, 9 versus... Yeah, she didn't have to run her camels away, but I guess she wanted to bolster them with these 2 extra ones to have an even larger group to fight with. But yeah, these skirmishers are going to drop. And if Helicity had just kept these pikemen and skirms up on one woodline all together, then they could have pretty much draxed these camel archers, and it would have been not a good rush for Kate. Yeah, he would have had her severely outnumbered, but instead he ended up losing 5 units, killing none, and having to run his units back to the Civ Center. Now he has a group of 22 women who he ran right into the camel's radius. He's using them to build a sentry tower to kind of repel her forces, and now he's trying to chase her away with some pikemen, but if they're able to catch up, that's a big mistake on the part of Kate. Yeah, she should have gotten those camels out of there. She had plenty of opportunity to, you know, get them to a safe position before losing one, but overall, she still has the upper hand in this rush, I would say, for sure. And that was a very, very cool use of, I believe it's forced march, where the troops kind of spread out into this long line, and it becomes very difficult for the enemy to kind of hit them all in one spot. So yeah, I don't really tend to utilize formations that often, other than just the box, to group everybody together. But yeah, that really kind of inspired me to experiment with that forced march. I think it's forced march. I'm just going by the fact that this is a line, but I'm not 100% sure about that. It might have been... it might be close order, actually. Let's see. Does it tell me? No, it doesn't tell me. But yeah, she pulled Helicity's forces very far away from his base, and he has her severely outnumbered still, even though she's gotten 21 kills to his 6. And yeah, she really got him in a trap here because these pikemen are so slow that if he wanted to get them back to the base, she could just continually chase them and pummel them with arrows, and they really have no way of escaping. Although Kate was a bit slow to the punch, and she did allow them to. That's probably the reason why Helicity decided to train these Lancer Cav, which are 2 times against all other Cavs, so they will be able to do a really good job of taking down these Camel Archers, where they would have if Helicity had enough of them. Although now with this balance, 27 versus 30, I think Helicity, honestly, would have the upper hand, but Kate is microing this extremely well. She keeps getting Helicity to run for it, and as soon as he starts running away, she starts giving chase and pummeling his troops with arrows. Yeah, if you were just going by troop composition and, you know, which troops have the advantage against the armor of the enemy, you would think that Helicity really had the advantage in this battle. And it may end up going that way after all. Still only 8 of the Lancer Cav, but they're chasing down some of these camels. Just dropped 2 of them. Now Kate is the one on the run. Yeah, if I were Kate, she still has the numbers by a very large margin, so I would just take out these Lancer Cav as fast as possible, even if she has to take some casualties to do so, and then she kind of has these... Okay, so now the numbers are evening out a bit. We have 64 from Helicity and only 37 of the camels. So yeah, if these armies go head to head at this point, things are going to start going very differently. And both players did manage to make their way up to phase 2 while the fighting was going. Yeah, I think Kate should just turn around and get rid of these Cav. There's still only There's a bug. Yeah, there's still a very small amount of them, and she did start trying to take them out. But let's see. A lot of them are very, very low health. Okay, she took out the majority of the Lancer Cav, and she's doing a good job running away and keeping Helicity's infantry at arm's length while she isolates his Cav and takes them down. Very good micro from Kate. Helicity still has the population advantage, but Kate is actually closing the gap at this point. And Helicity accidentally sent, 4 women into battle, which is a big loss if he ends up losing them. Now let's see, is Kate going to get her infantry involved now that Helicity is in her territory? If I were her, I would at least get these slingers into the fight for sure. Which, yeah, she's bringing everybody in. I don't know if the spearmen, the pikemen, will actually be able to catch up to any of Helicity's troops. Maybe. Interesting, Kate's KD is actually dropping. If I were just looking at this, I would say that, okay, it seems like it won't be dropping for long now that she's chasing him back across the map. This is a very interesting match. I love the back and forth between these 2 players. And Kate is, yeah, I'm assuming that she's done a really good job of maintaining her eco, despite having to do a lot of really intense micro through all of this, because she has managed to gather the resources that would be necessary for an expansion, and she is expanding straight into the center of the map, trying to gain access to this metal mine and this wood line, but she should be careful because Helicity now has the numbers, I would say, 66 versus 74. Yeah, so Helicity now has the numbers. Now, if Kate were to get these infantry involved in the fight, she would have the numbers. But she's instead choosing to build this military colony, which might be a good play. She just needs to be really careful and protect these camel archers because at this point the where are they? The Lancer Cav are right up on them, and they are dropping one after the other. And Helicity's KD is shooting up very quickly. Yup. Okay, it's still going back and forth, though, in terms of who has the advantage. Now, Kate has her military colony in the center of the map. It's interesting. Helicity has a huge amount of food and wood, whereas Kate is still down to the wire. So you can assume, considering Helicity has just had this... Although Kate has closed the gap, they're only 11 apart now, which is crazy. Yeah, and Kate has managed to repel Helicity. He got his KD a few points higher than it was, but she is still... she's still pummeling him pretty bad, and she might be about to surpass him as far as population. Storehouse, so yeah, this is brilliant. She's going to bring all of her... I'm assuming she's going to bring all of her woodcutting units all the way up to this wood line, which is in the middle of the map, so if they're needed to join the fight, they'll be able to do so pretty immediately. Although, it seems like the vast... So yeah, she should really bring these guys up towards the front line, I would say. She has a few up here. But yeah, she's lost a lot of infantry, and she has more camels than she does infantry at this point. So that's going to be very problematic. She's down to 180 wood, so she can't really train any new units right now. And she doesn't really have the woodcutters to back that up. Let's see what her woodcutting upgrades look like. Here it is. Okay, so she does have the second woodcutting upgrade. But yeah, very few units on the woodlines. We have 11 slingers and a handful over here. So that's only 21 units cutting wood. Not too many. She has a lot of infantry elsewhere, though. Oh, okay, they're on the initial mines. There's this metal mine right here. Still plenty. 13 Lancer Cav running up on the Camel Archers, but their numbers are a lot higher. However, they are being backed by a really large group of infantry right here. 42 of them, I should say. So about 60 for Helicity versus, versus 84. So Kate has the numbers, and she has passed Helicity in terms of population. If Helicity gets this temple up, though, it's going to be a very large benefit for him. And he's bringing a lot more soldiers into the fight. He has 58, and she is down to, 54. And the important thing to, 54 plus, now 60. It looks like she's still dominating. No, Helicity's catching up. These camels are going down. So the important thing to note is Helicity has really been excelling in terms of his choice of using these Lancer Cav to fight. They have an automatic 2x advantage against any type of Cav, including Kate's Camel Archers. So even though Kate has had the numbers for the past bit of time, very good strategy. She sent them into the military colony and popped them out on the other side to put additional distance between her and Helicity. Helicity has reached phase 3. Kate does not have the resources that are necessary to do so. She's low on metal. I wonder if that has anything to do with. So she doesn't really have too many military upgrades. Neither of them do. They each only have the ranged military offensive upgrade and the pierce resistance. We're experiencing a bit of a lull in the action, and we have a fortress going up on the part of Helicity. So, yeah, and the temple is up as well. So, yeah, if any fighting happens to take place in this area, if I were Kate, I would definitely get a temple up, because she has plenty of stone to build it and still make it to phase 3 very easily. She doesn't have anywhere near the metal she needs to get to phase 3, though, so she really needs to... She should have really had this first metal mine filled up and had an entire second one occupied as well, like, long ago, because she just hasn't been able to get either her military upgrades, and more importantly, she hasn't been able to get to phase 3. She is trying her best to stop this this fort from going up, but it's going to go up for sure. She wasn't going to let these pikemen or spearmen or pikemen or foot companions, she wasn't going to let these foot companions catch up to her calves, so she had to run them away from this this fort, and it's about to expand, and now Helicity is accomplishing with this fort pretty much more or less the same thing that this military colony is accomplishing for Kate. Yeah, it's gotten him access to this wood line, this metal mine, and in addition, it's also providing the intense defensive benefit that a fort gives that a military colony really doesn't. So that was a good play from Helicity. He also kind of has been somewhat on the back foot for this whole game. So yeah, if you're on the back foot in general, you really shouldn't invest in a whole other civic center or, you know, that big of an expansion when you can just get a fort. Ideally, you wouldn't have to pick between the two, but if you do have to pick between the two and you're playing a defensive game, just going for the fort alone is usually the way to go. Interestingly, Helicity does not even have the first metal mining or stone upgrade. Does Kate? Yeah, Kate at least has the first metal mining upgrade, but yeah, those upgrades are super important. She has the first metal mining upgrade, but she, for the most part throughout this game, she hasn't really had enough units on the metal mines, and I would say that continues to be the case even this far into the game. She's had access to plenty of metal throughout the game. Like she has this one. She finally has some people on here, but these mercenaries I don't think can gather it. Maybe she sent them there by mistake. Okay, sorry, she is all up in Helicity's base over here, and she's capturing a stable right now. She has successfully done so, so she should either garrison that or drop it quickly before it loses loyalty. Yeah, she dropped it. And she would have had pretty much no trouble taking out these six Lancer Cav, but she instead chose to kind of dance a little bit, run away. And now she's fully exiting Helicity's territory. She took her victory and got out of there. I feel like there's really no reason she couldn't have kept pushing. She could have easily taken this barracks, probably gotten both of these or gotten some houses. I would have gone for the barracks if I was her. Because, yeah, taking stables and barracks really have the potential to severely hamper your enemy's ability to reinforce throughout the game. And, yeah, she pretty much just sent these camels running back to her military colony, doing nothing, and they could have Yeah, they could have really done a lot of damage there. But instead, she decided to send them right up to the most fortified area that contains pretty much Helicity's entire army. And I think she's about to pay for that. Now she's allowing her troops to become split up. She's sending some back to the military colony,
Yes, see?
sending others kind of running to the northeast. I'm not entirely sure what her plan was there, but yeah, she really had a huge opportunity there in the southern area of Helicity's base. A huge opportunity to do a ton of damage, to completely hamper Helicity's ability to reinforce, and instead she kind of sent them running every which way. And yeah, now Helicity has a hero, and he definitely gained some ground there, ever so slightly. I think he upped his KD a little bit, but now Kate is taking the lead again. I'm so confused why she sent these camels all the way up over here. Maybe it was a play to kind of split up Helicity's troops. It was a success in that respect, but now these guys are isolated and Helicity has a huge
Yes, see?
numerical advantage. She finally brought these camels back towards the front line to aid in the fight, but Helicity is now seriously closing the gap in terms of KT. 0.81. Oh yeah, I don't know what sometimes there's a very, very clear turning point in a game and you can just see like a decision that swung things in the complete opposite direction of how they had been going up to that point. And I think that's what we just witnessed. Helicity now using these
Yes,
Lancer
see?
Cav and some skirmishers, I believe, to chase this group of camels right up near Kate's farms, where they're doing a lot of damage. And she has successfully repelled him from this military colony, but I don't know if these and yeah, she took a while to strip these people off the
Yes, see?
mines and get them involved in the fight. She should have pulled
Yes,
these
see?
guys off as well. Also, continuously, we have a lot of women on the metal mine, the metal and stone, and I don't see why. Yeah, okay, so
Yes, see?
what I was worried would happen is now happening. There's some cav right up in the farms, and I think they might have taken out a woman or two. But yeah, now Helicity is pulling back out from this area, but not before taking out a lot of camel archers and forcing the rest to hide inside the civic center and send a flurry of arrows out. But this
Yes,
hero
see?
is still standing with most of his HP and has the potential
Yes, see? Yes, see?
to do a lot of damage. But if I were Helicity, I would probably try to get those units out of there. So yeah, now we have another very large push
Yes,
from
see?
Helicity, this time with a ram being sent from the arsenal straight in towards her military colony. And yeah, those rams are going to be very formidable, considering 90% of Kate's fighting has been done by her camel archers up to this point. She had the opportunity to train swordsmen
Yes,
from
see?
the military colony.
Yes, see?
It seems like she
Yes, see?
decided not to for whatever reason. Or
Yes,
what are
see?
these? Are these swordsmen?
Yes, yes,
Not
see?
quite sure. Oh, they're slingers, yeah. So storehouse went down, not sure.
Yes, see?
Alright, yeah, so yeah, this ram is right up on this military colony, and yeah, really, Kate should have had swordsmen inside of this military colony to be prepared for this exact thing that's occurring right now. Which is yeah, it's about to come down. I don't see any chance of Kate being able to take this ram out. Yeah, so she's about to lose her military colony, and yeah, I would expect to see a resignation very soon from Kate. Yeah, you can still see she has the KD advantage, which you know, is just an indicator of the fact that she had the lead throughout. Oh wow, Helicity went for a capture with only 4 HP left. Incredible. Okay, so it dropped. Kate probably took it out very easily with pretty much any unit would have been able to take those last 4 HP down. But yeah, it doesn't particularly matter too much because yeah, as we can see, Kate understood at this point that she fumbled it. She had this and she fumbled it, to be completely honest. Very excellent showing from both players, I gotta say. I am super, super impressed. Let's take a look at the summary. I'm sure we're gonna see Kate very much in the lead throughout this, pretty much throughout this entire game. Up until, okay, I'm wrong. It's actually quite the opposite. Helicity was firmly in the lead throughout the whole thing, and I think that's because it's his eco. Yeah, if you look at, let's take a look at military score on the other hand. Yeah, completely ahead of Helicity throughout the entire game, getting way more kills than him. Yeah, just fucking killing it like a boss, like she always does. But yeah, I mean, you guys saw it, I saw it. There was that moment where she was in the south of his base. She had a very large, formidable group of camel archers. She took that stable, and you know, the only thing Helicity had down in the south to defend was, what was it, I think 9 Lancer Cav, compared to Kate had like at least 40, maybe 50 plus camel archers down there, with nothing standing between them and those 2 barracks. The stable that the Lancer Cav were garrisoned in that stable, so I don't think she could have took that, but she could have taken both of those barracks before Helicity had the chance to bring his troops down to the south of his territory and take out the camels. But instead she decided to completely reverse direction, send the camel archers up around her military colony, and then like ran them straight into a gigantic wall of Helicity's troops, and they started to drop like flies. Then she split them up into 2 smaller groups, which it kind of did a little bit to split Helicity's troops up, but really the largest effect it had was just splitting her troops up and making them more vulnerable, and also luring Helicity's, like a large portion of Helicity's troops right in towards her farms. And yeah, Helicity took that that moment, and he ran with it, and he quickly reversed the course of this game and turned the tables on Kate, and he ran away with it. So yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. It was a lot of fun. I really like doing 1v1s. I think like my favorite type of games to comment on are like 4v4s though, because, sorry, 2v2s, because a 4v4, like the lag is just so overwhelming, like you saw in the last video that I dropped. Like, yeah, I can't use OBS to screen record, which means I can't split the audio between the internal audio and the, what do you call it, and the microphone. So yeah, the audio is a lot worse when I'm not doing a 1v1, but it should be really good for this game. So I'm looking forward to editing it and uploading it for you guys. I would really appreciate it if you liked this video and subscribed and rang the bell, and I will see you guys in the next one.